So this is the collection of dicks that I have amassed in the last about year and a half. And this is a probably 30 plus inch Chicago flag cock at full mast. I almost made the mistake of making regular stars, and my roommate was like, "No, like they're 6 foot." I was like, "Oh, right, right. Like I need to can't get that wrong. I don't want to be booed out of the city." So I'll probably make a few more of them because I it's just fun. I want to try different themed ones. The way that you make them is with a punch needle. It's a hollow needle that you run the yarn through, and you punch into a matrix. So if you hate what you made, you can just and pull them all out at once. So it's really easy to delete. I know inevitably there may be a point when it's just like, okay, I'm over it, or maybe not. You know, there's so many things that you can do with a phallus. I don't know. I really love it. It's kind of cathartic. And it's drawing with yarn, which is just like, yes, this is me. This is what I'm into. Any excuse to have a giant pile of yarn. If I could fill a room with yarn, I just sometimes joke with people like, I'm a yarn dragon. That is my hoard. You know, this is what I collect. This is what I want. Whatever I can do with it to have that. Oh, Chucky. Chucky, my cat. Come here, Chuck. So I'm just sort of feeling it out and seeing like, okay, what kind of things can I make? And somebody was telling me like, you got to do angels and demons, man. So I'm going to do some angels and demons and just see kind of how much I can play with just a very simple theme. Those are actually a lot of fun. So I want to try more of that. I found early on that if you wanted to make a living as a freelancer, you draw porn. You draw other people's characters from games or anthropomorphic characters in pornographic scenarios. And I mean, I make other art, but I'm really good at drawing dicks. Easy shape, lots of character, very individual. And I was just like, yep, that's it. That's the thing that I'm going to do. I had just been in art school before the pandemic started, and all of my friends and I were noticing that what people might consider lowbrow work, everyone responds to it. Like people who aren't artists, people who are artists, when they see, especially genital work, when they see it, they're like, hey, you know, like there's no um, confusion about what it is or what it means or whatever. And I just thought, you know, if I want to reach a high volume of people in a way that I find kind of amusing and fun, then this would be the thing that I would do. So I really knew that I could just take it out with me on the street here and be like, ah, and everyone would be like, what? And there's, you know, 3 million or whatever people in the city. So I was just like, well, I mean, even if 10% of people love it, that is a lot of people. I do like to work in bars. I really love the noise. I really love the atmosphere. I love people when they're inebriated. Like they're just so much fun. Like it really doesn't bother me at all. People in the Green Mill, which is the only place I've gone to thus far, are very intrigued by it. I've met a lot of really cool characters. It's nice to have the occasional conversation. And I've met a lot of really cool comedians and stuff by being there. So that has been fun. People I didn't even know I was talking to that have been on Comedy Central and stuff like that have just been like, sick, you know, I see it and they're just like, this is great. So I love to flip people's expectations of what fun art can be, I guess. I'm trying to preserve the joy of it as much as I can. And I feel like if I start tallying or anything like that, that it might rob me of it. But maybe one day after I've made, you know, 1,000 of them, I might just go, you know, do the maths and be like, oh my God, like I've literally been doing this for hours and it maybe even a year solid of my life. Like that could be fun. But for now, I'm in like thoughtless production mode. I was a janitor before I came here. And I had just met a new janitor that came who he did fashion in LA and stuff. He was a really trendy, really cool person. And I was like, hey, I got something to show you. And so I brought this one and a few others that I made. And he was like, I want, like, I must have one of these. It is now hanging on the door into his creative studio. Like the cock is the first thing you see when you enter. And it even has a name. It's called Cosmocock because it looks like it's It's a space, it kind of looks space themed. So it was one of my favorites. I'm glad that it went to a good home. A lady in Hawaii just requested a 64-inch bright eye bleeding orange. And she was like, I need this for my kitchen. It'll be the biggest one that I've ever made. It is taller than I am. It'll probably weigh a ton, but I'm excited. These two are going to Italy and Norway. And I just recently sent one to Canada. I had to fill out a customs form for it, and I was very non-specific. My mom definitely knows. She's in full support of pretty much everything I do. She's like, you're a star, get it. I don't think she's particularly fond of giant phalluses, as a person, but she definitely loves them anyway. I mean, I have friends who are like, I'm a very straight man, but may I touch that? I want to feel it. Can I just snuggle it? And I'm like, yeah, man, go for it. So I've definitely had some interesting interactions with my friends and my family. I don't think they've told my grandma yet. I hope they never tell my grandma. That might send her to the grave. I really don't. It's just I don't want to be the source of grandma's demise. Let's just tell her that I make custom-made rugs. Just, what? It was like, yeah, it's fine. Rugs.
Next week, episode 6, a performer with the toughest crowd.
And there's all these chains of preschools.
From Superphonic Studios, this is Chicago. Listen every Sunday.